Advisors Group, and he's good enough to join us now to pick up the conversation. Let's start with what everybody wants to know. Guys like you study this. Are you seeing what kind of recovery? L, U, W, what?
So here's what I'll say in regards to a recovery. No one really knows what the recovery will be, but one thing I'm confident in saying, in my opinion, is it's not going to be a V like so many people are talking about. You have one good month in the stock market, and all of a sudden everyone thinks that it's smooth sailing. There's a clear disconnect right now with Wall Street over the last 30 days and Main Street. I don't think the average person understands, or maybe they do, the amount of damage that's being done right now economically, the amount of bankruptcies that are going to happen in the retail space, small mom and pop businesses. This is going to take a long time to recover from.
So the helicopter money that is being flown in and discharged all over to mostly big corporations, I'm hearing you say, is disguising the real problem?
Yeah, well, and this is the other thing, too, is these are just very temporary fixes to maybe put a backstop to the capital markets. But when I look at Main Street, I work with I work with families. I don't work with large corporations. And I have conversations every day with local business owners. I live in Delaware. Our restaurants, our retail, they're shut down. They are not built to be shut down for several months. So these PPP programs that maybe they got or maybe they didn't get based on what the banks did, it's only going to get them through maybe a month or two. So I don't see how they're able to make it under the current environment we're in. And it's a bad situation. I'm a very positive person. That's why my Twitter handle is Common Sense Bull. But at the same time, I'm a realist, and it's going to take a while to recover from this. There's a lot of damage going to be done, unfortunately, to the small businesses, and that is the backbone of this country.
So what about those who say, look, in a couple of weeks or maybe in a couple of months, we're going to open up all the businesses, people are going to flock back in, and everything's going to be back to normal again? Why not, Eddie?
Look, I would love to think that's a reality, but when we look at this virus and how it spreads, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I've read enough research on this that we have two things, unfortunately, working against us. Number one, what are the odds that every single state can open up successfully and you get demand right away? I think the probability of that is very, very slim. Secondly, these states, when they open up, they're going to open up with restrictions in certain industries. I just referred to restaurants. Every restaurant owner I've spoke to feel like the best case scenario is 50% capacity is what the governor is going to allow them to run at. They cannot operate profitably at just 50% capacity. So opening up sounds great. I want to see us open up, but I think the reality is the consumer is not going to come back as strong as we would like it to. It's going to take a while until we get a vaccine. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and that could take another year, unfortunately, until it not only gets made, but then gets distributed. So you think a big part of it is just going to be the social psychological conditioning of Americans, where they're not going to be comfortable going to a bar or a restaurant or even going to any big stadiums or events anymore, correct? And that's the hit that the economy will take.
It is. Look, people's behavior are going to change from this. This is not something people are going to forget about, especially if they have personally been impacted by this. Couple that with the fact that, again, I think you're going to see stricter restrictions and regulations on how these businesses are able to open up again. I don't think you're going to see these stadiums packed come September when the NFL season kicks off, or baseball or NBA. I mean, that's just going to be the new norm here for the next probably 12 months until we do, to your point, get a vaccine.
I'm noticing that trophy behind you there. Tell our audience a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I coach my son's football team, the Cape Henlopen Vikings, and this year we won the states in Delaware. And we also made it to the regionals and advanced a few rounds. We were 2 games away from the Super Bowl. Small Sussex County town in Delaware, and frankly, it was the best sporting experience I ever had. Was coaching these young men and teaching them not only about football, but about life and how winning is important.
That's great. I got a chance to coach my son's high school football team, and we took them all the way to the state. And I get goosebumps listening to your story, too. So Good for you. Good American. Good dad.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you on, Eddie. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you.
All right.